I think there's a number of watershed moments in my life over the years. Being homeless was a watershed moment, being a young person homeless in the city. There was a number of organisations that I always say invested in me. So when I didn't believe in myself, they kind of believed in me, like St Basil's, who housed me. Further on in the journey, there was an organisation called WAITS, Women Acting in Today's Society. They used to ask me to come along. They say, come to London, we're going to speak to these people. And I'd be like, okay then, because I just had something to say, not realising I was going to the Home Office and speaking to ministers. So so that's definitely kind of helped me. And Operation Black Vote when I became a magistrate. So those have all been key things. I think my life experience of working for the council particularly was very interesting. It helped me to grow, learn a lot in terms of local government, and particularly working with communities, because I was a community development worker. So that has a huge impact in my style and the way I see things in the city. And ultimately, I will say Ian Ward, who's the leader of the council, because I remember at one point actually saying to him before Labour was in administration, I don't know what councillors do. And I actually shadowed for a while. And kind of went, oh, actually, you work quite hard, you do, don't you? So that kind of put me on that trajectory to actually move towards politics. And I think I also dabbled in policy, because as a single mother, I went on a project that was looking at putting together a toolkit that challenged policymakers on lone parents that were in the workplace. So there's a lot of different things that led me to where I am. I always say that when you become disillusioned with politics or policy, that's when politics and policy need you. So that's when I kind of moved into that space. But there's been loads of different watershed moments. And I think the biggest one for me has to be going from homeless teenager to ending up being a board member of the homeless project that housed me. And then obviously becoming the city's first homelessness champion. And cabinet advisor for homelessness, calling people on board to help me to write a manifesto just on homelessness, which was Liam Byrne and also my colleague John Cotton. And then obviously going into cabinet to be blessed enough to be able to be the council cabinet member for housing and homelessness and represent us in Birmingham, but also on Eurocities over there in Europe. So I think I've had quite a few watershed moments that have led me to where I am, which I'm proud of.
Yeah, talk me through the day that you decided you were going to be a councillor. You know, was there a thought process or a moment when you thought, hang on a minute, I'm gonna do that?
I think to start off with, I started to get involved in party politics. So I joined a party and I got involved in party politics, and when I became actively involved in the party, my aim was not to become a councillor. My aim was to help my friend to become a councillor. So my friend was running for council in a seat that for our party was like it was a difficult seat that you were, you know, it's a bit like you're not going to get this one. But we, between us, when everybody wrote it off, we managed to gain an extra over 1,000 and odd votes, which was phenomenal. And we did it on such a small budget. And, you know, our fundraising techniques and everything. So that was that. It was about more so trying to support her. And then I became women's officer and things. So I slowly got involved. I think the watershed moment for me, when I wanted to become a councillor, a few people who had been around me whilst we was on the journey of supporting her and being a part of the party said to me I would make a good councillor. And I was like, it's not for me, sorry, not interested. And then I was working for the council, and I'd worked for the council for nearly a decade, and I could just see what the cuts was doing. I could see good people were leaving the authority. It was shrinking. We couldn't deliver services in the same way. The impact it was having on local communities, because I was running a community centre, so I could see it coming through the door on a daily basis. I saw real hardship and poverty that I hadn't seen for a very long time. And, you know, having to say we can't do that or we can't do this anymore. That's what got me quite angry. And also that feeling of, you know, politicians sometimes can be a little bit demanding. And it was also that feeling of being an officer and trying to, we can, and this is what we're working with and resources. And I just kind of had this attitude that politics needed more people who had worked on the ground on a grassroots level, that had experience of delivering these policies that you keep telling us we need to be putting into place. And I think that was the catalyst for me. I got really angry about the way that things were. And, you know, I wanted to be a part of change.